What's going on, y'all? 5 Sports Talk back at it with another video talking some NBA, talking NBA rumors. Here to talk about what would happen if the Golden State Warriors beat the Cleveland Cavaliers in the NBA Finals. It is looking like such. Does that mean it is time for the Cavs to go after somebody else? Do they need to retool and rework their roster? Because it's clear that the discrepancy is in talent. It is significant between these two teams after Golden State went out and got Kevin frickin' Durant. Okay, so you guys see the title. There's a player out there that the Cavs have been linked to now, and he's been on the market, and I'm talking about Paul George. And here to discuss what it would take for Paul George and Cleveland Cavaliers to find their way to one another. Now, this rumor really doesn't have too many legs to it outside of a few scouts, outside of a few executives. All of these guys are anonymous, by the way, from the reports that I've read, and a couple of reporters like Chris Broussard speculating that Cleveland Cavaliers should go after Paul George. Chris Broussard mentioned this on Undisputed, and he said that, you know, if the Cavs lost to the Warriors, he would go after Paul George if he was Cleveland. So I said, interesting. Let's see, what would it take? Would Paul George be a good fit for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and what exactly would it take for the Cavaliers to strike a deal for one Paul George? So first thing is first, it is no secret that Paul George wants out of Indy. He hasn't flat out come out and said it, of course, but reports and rumors from teammates and people around him have said that Paul George wants out of Indiana, and his preferred destination has been the Lakers. But here's the thing, I mean, he is from Cali, so that is why it is being linked to the Lakers. But anytime, you guys know, anytime a player is linked to the Lakers, especially a star player, usually it doesn't happen. We saw the same thing with LeBron, Carmelo Anthony, LaMarcus Aldridge, the list goes on and on. Who knows, I could be wrong, but let's see. So Paul George has one more year left on his deal, really two, but the second year is a player option, which means he is going to opt out. He is going to become a free agent after next season. So what's going to happen is the Indiana Pacers have two choices. Either you trade Paul George now up until before he becomes a free agent, or you let him walk in free agency, okay? So you're going to give him the option of, if he's walking in free agency, you're betting on him re-signing with your team, because then you stand a chance to lose him for nothing. So if the Cavaliers were indeed going after Paul George, a trade would be pretty easy to work out just because both teams have very high salaries. Paul George is due about $18 million, and the Cavs have a very, very high payroll. So first thing is first, Paul George needs to go to the GM of the Pacers and say, look, you better trade me to the Cavaliers or I'm going to leave in free agency. Just tell them that, and then they will try to make a move for Paul George. Right now, the Pacers are saying that they're going to keep Paul George, but I think that could change any second. So you look at these possible scenarios. Tristan Thompson has been playing like trash in the NBA Finals, and everyone knows that. They could swing a deal and move Tristan Thompson. I know Kevin Love would be the preferred option by Indy here, but if I were the Cavaliers, I would try this trade first. I would try to trade Tristan Thompson and Iman Shumpert for Paul George and Al Jefferson. Now, I threw in Al Jefferson in the deal just because the Cavaliers would get thin at center by losing TT, but if they don't want to throw in Al Jefferson, that's fine, okay? We can just take Paul George, okay? That would be my first scenario if I am the Cleveland Cavaliers. If the Pacers say no to that, we want someone better than Tristan Thompson, then maybe you pony up Kevin Love, okay, with Iman Shumpert. Iman Shumpert is going to be included in this deal. He's his salary is too high, and it matches perfectly. So it would be Kevin Love and Iman Shumpert, okay, for, like I said, Paul George and Al Jefferson. So now at this point, you could come back, and then that would be a fair trade. I think Indy could accept that trade. I definitely think it is much more fair. And then you're looking at a lineup of Kyrie Irving, though Paul George would move to shooting guard, okay? Jimmy Butler moved to small forward when Dwayne Wade came, so you can't tell me Paul George can't move to shooting guard, okay? LeBron James at small forward, and then like I said, depending on the trade, so the first trade, if you trade away Tristan Thompson, you'd have Love and then Al Jefferson. If you trade away Kevin Love, then you would probably have an Al Jefferson or a Channing Frye with a Tristan Thompson in that lineup. Now you're talking, okay? Because now you can You have a lot more defense on your team. Paul George can play multiple positions, can defend multiple positions. He is perfect for defending against the Golden State Warriors, like I said, because he is a two-way player, and now you're going to have two elite perimeter defenders. I know LeBron really doesn't try as much, but he is still elite when he wants to be. And then you got LeBron and Paul George. You have size with them. Of course, you still have Kyrie Irving. And Paul George gives you a great scoring punch as well. I just think Kevin Love, and he's played well in the finals, he's just been relegated to, I feel like there's no impact with Kevin Love even when he has a big game. I feel like the Cavaliers need a player who can make more of an impact and not just stuff the stat sheet, you know? So with Paul George, you can get that. So now you throw out this lineup against that Warriors team. You got Kyrie on Steph. You can put LeBron on KD still. You can put Paul George on Klay Thompson. Okay, then you still have Tristan Thompson or Kevin Love, either or, on Draymond Green, and then whoever on Zaza Pachulia or JaVale McGee. But like I said, now you have players that can defend everybody on the Warriors, okay? Now it's an even matchup because Paul George is able to bring that defensive mindset because he is a two-way player and he's a scorer as well. He's another threat on the court, and he can take that pressure off Kyrie Irving and LeBron James the way Kevin Love cannot. So I would like this move for the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think they should go all hands on deck for Paul George. I am all for it. I think this is the move that probably puts him on the same level of playing field as the Golden State Warriors. But let's see if it happens. I'm not sure where Paul George wants to go, but LeBron James needs to convince Paul George that, one, he will stay in Cleveland long term, because I don't think LeBron's contract extends past next year either. And then also Paul George needs to give the Cavaliers assurance that he will sign, because this is going to be part of chasing multiple championships. Paul George, you can't go to the Lakers and not play for a championship for a couple more seasons. They're still not ready yet. They're still like 2, 3, 4 years away. They have a great young core, but Paul George is in the middle of his prime. He wants to compete for championships, and he can do that in Cleveland much, much quicker than he can do that with the Lakers. And as always, let me know what you guys think about this trade. Do you guys like this video? Please leave a comment and a like down below. And as always, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.